Welcome, it's Gnome, and welcome to this crypto update. From my last crypto update, I told you guys the price was here about $87,000, and I said that it's very likely that we go and visit these lows here, basically this previous support line here. We touch it, and then we go to the upside. If that does not hold, then we go all the way down to 80K, touch that, and then we go to the upside. So the first scenario basically came true here. So you were able to catch this bottom here. And I posted a lot of bullish stuff also in the Discord, basically showing you guys that Link is already having a breakout from this momentum structure. And now take a look at Bitcoin here. We have had a bullish breakout from the RSI as well. Basically, Bitcoin is now following Chainlink, which is what sometimes happens is the altcoins first dump, then Bitcoin dumps, then altcoins have a pump, and then Bitcoin bumps afterwards. That's basically what we are seeing now. So now I will tell you exactly what my plan is, or what I think is coming in the next basically week or two, what I expect will happen. Now, it doesn't mean that it will necessarily happen, but it's just my analysis, what I think happens next. But all in all, the Bulls are basically back in action, but don't worry, there will be more fun to come to basically try out to flush the weekends before we go to the upside. But also, you basically have to hang tight to your bags now because we are about to fly. Now, before I show you the rest of my technical analysis and fundamental analysis to back everything up, let me actually go first to the news because we have had a bunch of good news within the last few days since my last update. So first off, BlackRock has had an ETF for Ethereum, basically. And when we take a look at the amount of Ethereum in that ETF, take a look at the amount of buying that has been happening in the last 2 weeks. Just massive amounts of buying here, which is very, very cool to see. And almost all of it is Ethereum, but they also have some Avalanche, Aptos, Polygon, Arbitrum One, and OP there as well, which are obviously increasing in size as well. But this is basically Ethereum is the layer one, and the other ones are layer two chains, which are built on top of Ethereum. So Ethereum looks to be having a very good run very, very soon. So BlackRock currently has $1.145 billion worth of Ethereum in that ETF. Very cool. Next, we have some news from China. So the first piece of news comes from Hong Kong, which is a HK Asia Holdings is a publicly traded company, and they have bought their first 10 Bitcoin. It's not a lot. It's only roughly less than $1 million, but this is showing an example where this is going. The second news is much more bullish. So CCP Media or CCP backed media just published an article saying that Bitcoin has investment value. We know what's coming next. So let me show you the actual article here. Now, I did not 100% verify that this is the actual CCP backed media, but I read the article and it seems to be checking out. So I could be wrong here. If you have better information, correct me in the comments. And by the way, leave a comment as well. It helps the algorithm. But when I translated the page to English, they are talking about the National Bitcoin Strategic Reserve that United States will be issuing, and also they are saying, let me find the word value. So it can be used for a new currency forms for trading and value storage. So basically saying that crypto suddenly have value. Then they are talking about stablecoins here, USDT, USDC, and then they talk about the central bank digital currencies, for example, the digital RMB, which is the Chinese yuan. So that's a lengthy article here, but basically what they are saying is that Bitcoin has investment value and we should focus on this. And when you scroll all the way down here to the bottom, you can see that the author of this page is the Deputy Director of Institute of Finance of the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences and the Deputy Director of National Finance and Development Laboratory. So it seems to check out. Now, I could be still wrong, completely wrong here. This came out in March 14th. I don't know why I did not see a bigger piece of news of this, so I could be wrong here. But at least it seems like the table is turning, and it's not only United States that wants to get access to Bitcoin. We are seeing actual steps being taken in the direction that Chinese companies are buying Bitcoin. So it seems to check out. And then President Trump's executive director says that there has been countless ideas to buy Bitcoin. You know that previously they said that they will use basically budget neutral strategies to acquire more Bitcoin in the US strategic Bitcoin reserve that don't create a cost for the taxpayer. Now, they could sell gold, they could sell other assets, they could inflate the currency supply. There's a lot of ideas, but here is the kicker: the best ideas will be enacted. So they will be buying Bitcoin. It's only a matter of time. So now it's basically a race who gets to acquire Bitcoin before they actually start buying. So you obviously understand that even though there may be a small blip in price, fundamentally speaking, if this is the consensus that they will buy Bitcoin, you will understand that a lot of people will start buying Bitcoin, institutions and so forth. Next, Tornado Cash. This was a service where you could transfer Bitcoin through Tornado Cash, and when you did that, you were able to, or Ethereum, you were able to basically scramble the transactions in a way that make it almost impossible to track the original source for that transaction. So you could basically have private transactions through a public blockchain. And right now, USA has basically taken Tornado Cash out of the sanctions list. So this is a massive, massive W, a massive win for privacy over digital asset transactions. So this is perfect. This is what we want to see. And I'm super happy that we got to see this in our lifetimes. And we are seeing basically all of these privacy intruding innovations like CBDCs currently being actively taken out by the Trump administration. So that's what I'm very happy for what they are doing on that front. Then this was massive. So UAE, I told you guys in the last two previous crypto updates that they are now making deals with USA. And here is what happened. UAE has committed to $1.4 trillion 10-year investment framework with the United States for AI, semiconductors, energy, American manufacturing. And one thing that they did not basically say here is also crypto, because they were talking about crypto in the meeting. I shared with you guys the tweet from in a previous update that they were talking about crypto, and this is basically the investment here. So this is a very, very beautiful, and if not for anything else, this basically creates more appetite for investment, taking on risk, because we are seeing these investments basically now flowing into the United States. So this is good. And again, when they talk about budget neutral strategies to acquire Bitcoin, this is one of those strategies that this money could be used to buy some Bitcoin in the strategic reserve. And then we have an update from Justin Sun, and he is now basically speculating here that Tron Network ETF is coming. I don't know if this is confirmed, but it most likely it is at least in the end stages of becoming a reality. And as you know, TRX is part of the World Liberty Financial investment portfolio. So it is actually likely that this will become an ETF. And most of the USDT transactions actually go through Tron network. So that is one of the reasons why Tron, there's a very good chance that Tron will become an ETF. So just telling you the guys that this might be quite bullish for this token. Then Trump family is making moves in crypto once again. So MetaPlanet, which I have shared again on this channel many times, they have acquired more than 3,000 Bitcoin. Now they have appointed Eric Trump, which is the son of Donald Trump, to be a strategic board of advisors. So the Trump family, they are now cornering Bitcoin, they're cornering crypto from basically all sides. one more side that they are cornering Bitcoin and crypto is with Russia. And I know some of my viewers will not like what I'm about to share here, and they are angry about this, but this is still the reality, what is going on. So I'm just going to report as it is. So uh, Steve Witkoff, this guy here, this was the first US diplomat to actually talk with Putin. And he met Putin 2 times. And I'll just play this message here because it's quite interesting when you hear him actually say what's going on. Then I will add my analysis on top of it.
In the second visit that I had, it got personal. The President Putin had commissioned a beautiful portrait of President Trump from the leading Russian artist, and actually gave it to me and asked me to take it home to President Trump, which I brought home and delivered to him. It's been reported in the paper, but it was such a gracious moment, and told me a story, Tucker, about how when the president was shot, he went to his local church and met with his priest and prayed for the president, not because he was the president of he could become the president of the United States, but because he had a friendship with him and he was praying for his friend. It was, I mean, can you imagine sitting there and listening to these kind of conversations? And I came home and delivered that message to our president and delivered the painting. And he was clearly touched by it. So this is the kind of connection that we've been able to reestablish through, by the way, a simple word called communication.
So there it is. Donald Trump has a personal relationship with Vladimir Putin, and also Steve Witkoff here is basically saying that Donald Trump is touched by Putin praying over Donald Trump after the assassination attempt. And it doesn't really matter if you believe this or not. Steve Witkoff is super, super close with Donald Trump, and that means that Donald Trump believes this is true, and that is what matters. Now, there's a couple of levels that I want to talk about because it's not entirely clear why this is important for crypto. Well, the reason why I'm talking about this is that Witkoff's son is called Zach Witkoff, who is the same person who is a co-founder of the World Liberty Financial Project. So Steve Witkoff is the father of the crypto project that they want to make basically global, as the name suggests, World Liberty Financial. Now the obvious question is Donald Trump also try to corner Putin into his new global crypto standard protocol, World Liberty Financial, through Steve Witkoff, because his son is in the crypto project with Donald Trump's sons. So that's basically what I'm getting at, is that there are now deals being made with UAE, with China, with Putin, with all of these different players, and Donald Trump wants to be at the center of it all. He wants the Trump family, the WLFI, to be at the core of crypto. And like I've said before, crypto is becoming centralized, even if we want it or not, but we can still make money out of it. So this is going to be obviously super bullish once the WLFI launches, and then we get these deals basically out in the open, because at that moment crypto will basically immediately become the de facto place where people want to transact, because they understand where the future is going. Because the WLFI, the stablecoin standards, they could basically replace the current SWIFT payment system network. And if that happens, you understand that the people at the center will control everything. This is more power than even the president of the United States has, if they can control the banking system. So Donald Trump wants to be at the center of this next banking system. Now, there was actually a fifth level of what you need to understand here. I watched the whole interview with Tucker Carlson and Steve Witkoff, and what he said is basically he completely supports Israel's what I would describe as genocide against Palestinian people, and he only blames Hamas for everything. And what you have to understand is that Witkoff is also a Jew when I looked into his background. So what I kind of worries me at this moment is that when we look at the history of different Jews in crypto, for example, SBF was a Jew who obviously caused the FTX bankruptcy. They misused the funds that investors had put in. Also, Alex Mashinsky is a Jew, and he basically crashed the Celsius network, which also mismanaged the customer funds. So I'm not saying that all Jews are bad or anything like that. What I'm just saying is that it makes me a little bit worried because the track record for Jewish led projects is not exactly a pitch perfect uh, track record. So, what I'm maybe a little bit worried is that if too much power is getting centralized at the hands of people where we don't exactly know uh, uh, what they plan to do in the future, that could take us in a very dark place. So even though Bitcoin and crypto is getting centralized, it is important to support decentralized protocols as this new future is unfolding for us to basically have a power balance between different powers. That's basically what crypto is all about, is having the decentralization at the core of everything. So I'm just sharing that idea as well, that this is happening. You have to keep it in the background, even though we might get rich of it, to also keep in mind that let's try to support decentralization at the same time. So anyway, that's it. That's what's going on here. Next, let's actually go and take a look at short-term data. So Bitcoin liquidation heat map. You are currently seeing that we are liquidating these shorts here. There's still some liquidity above here, but as you can see, there's a lot of liquidations, but basically potentially at $80,000 price level, maybe even up to like 78K. So there's still, if market makers have power, if it's not too bullish, then this is basically there's a chance that we still visit these areas. Obviously, there's a lot of liquidity here as well, but currently there's not a lot of longs in the system as of now. A lot of people still want to basically short the market. I'm sorry, there's not a lot of shorts in the market here. There could be a lot more shorts, but the shorts are basically being taken out of the system, while longs are currently being piling up because all of these bullish things. So if you are a market maker, you may actually want to flush this market one more time before it basically becomes uncontrollable and the bull season continues. And when we go and take a look at the order book depth, now we are basically seeing sell pressure once again. I shared this chart also throughout the weekend, that we're seeing some buying going on with these lows here. But now that we are seeing this bullish move here, now we are seeing some sell pressure once again. So keep this in mind in the immediate short term. Let's change this to 3%. And yes, we do see quite a bit of sell pressure. It's nowhere near as much as we saw at these price levels, which is nice. That means that a lot of the sell pressure has already diminished. You can see here at the peak here, we had $124 million more limit sell orders than we have now at a little bit higher price point. That means the amount of selling has basically diminished, which is quite good as well. And looking at the fundamental data on sentiment.net, there's something very, very important here going on. First off, we are seeing Bitcoin being taken out of exchanges. This is nice once again. So when this is happening, it's bullish, obviously. Then nothing important with the stablecoin supply. Old money has not been selling basically since Friday. So that is also nice to see that over the weekend we did not see old money basically selling at all. Investors, even that have held Bitcoin for more than 90 days, basically did not sell throughout the weekend at all. Very nice to see. At least on-chain sales did not occur. But here is the important part. I told you guys already that big whales started to accumulate Bitcoin. So here you can see that once we had this major flush to the downside, basically all the way to $78,000, that's when these mega whales, 10,000 to 100,000 Bitcoin wallets, they started to accumulate Bitcoin here massively. Then we saw these big whales, this blue line actually start to accumulate as well. And right now, over the weekend, they have sold a little bit of their balances, both of these wallets, but they are not selling a lot yet. And here we can see that the 100 to 1000 Bitcoin holders have started to slowly accumulate once again after this second low here. So if we see a lot of accumulation, you will understand what will happen to price next. One more thing that I want to tell you guys is when we take a look at these mega whales, they basically had the same amount of Bitcoin now as they had here when Bitcoin price was roughly, what is this, roughly $97,000. So if they have the same amount of Bitcoin now, that probably means that they are accumulating more. They were able to basically buy the dip at a cheaper price. So that's basically what happened there. So overall, I'm just saying that Bitcoin is quite bullish, but here is what I think will happen next. You see this trend line here. This is very important because when we compare this to, for example, Link, you will understand that Link already is above this trend line here, and that is showing where Bitcoin wants to go. So what I'm currently expecting is that the momentum continues basically up here to $90,000. And there, Bitcoin will have a move to the downside. Maybe even basically back to 85K, back to basically this channel lows here. And then it breaks out. And once that happens, this is what I expect, for example, altcoins to do. This is Chainlink here. So this is basically the same exact trend line that I showed before. We already had the bullish breakout here on the RSI, which I reported in the previous updates. And now we have the bullish breakout on the actual price as well. So what I'm expecting right now is that as the bullish momentum continues with Bitcoin, Link goes to like $17, $18 here. We go to this resistance area here. And then as Bitcoin has a breather, Link will basically dump back to $14 or so. People will get very scared, maybe even back to this trend line here. And this is where we will basically fly. That's what I'm currently expecting, because with this long-term trend line here on the RSI is breaking to the upside. So that's making me basically believe that now we're looking for bullish momentum. Now, the only annoying thing, scary thing, in my opinion, is the tariffs that will come into play basically next week. But for that, Donald Trump already eased the tariffs a little bit. So basically saying that they will not issue a full-on tariffs on 2nd of April. They will be targeted tariffs. So kind of walking back on the tariff fear. So I hope the plan works and we will not get a black swan event out of the tariff situation. And I hope they will be able to navigate the markets better to not crash us completely unexpectedly. But this is kind of my current plan here, is just basically through this week, basically continue bullishly. Let me go back to Bitcoin here. What is this date here? So this would be Thursday, and then Friday, maybe actually go sideways throughout the weekend, and then dump here back to like 85K. So this drawing here is not exactly perfect. If we just basically break out of here without any resistance, that will tell us that the bull market is extremely strong and the market makers have basically lost all of their power. If market makers have lost completely their power, and then the raging bull market will be pretty insane. So this is currently what I'm expecting in the short term, and on the long term, obviously I've shared you guys my overall plan is that Bitcoin will go to 155K. That's what I'm still expecting, basically to become some form of a local top at least. I don't know if we go to that $444,000 that one insane time traveler guy is predicting. That is obviously possible if United States actually starts to buy Bitcoin. But just from these current news alone, this hype, I think Bitcoin has a chance to attack that 155K price point. and let's see if we can get that to become a reality. But overall, I was kind of worried that we will go to the downside here from this structure. That would have been very nice. We would have been able to basically snipe very good bottoms here, but we did not get that, at least as of now. So as of now, it looks like we are on the bullish week for this week, and next week kind of expecting a pullback. That's my current idea. Now, if you want to trade these markets, you know that I'm sponsored by Bybit. If you use my code denome, you will get 10% discount for your first 30 days, and there's up to $30,000 in welcome rewards when you use bybit.com. If you are ineligible to use Bybit, I do have some other affiliate links in the description that you can open your accounts on if you want to buy Bitcoin, if you want to long, short, use leverage, copy trade, do any kind of thing like that. So that's it for this update. I hope you got value out of it. I hope you are excited for the future as I am, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you and bye bye.